guys, thanks for tuning in. This is some unprecedented crazy thing going on regarding the coronavirus in Moscow, Russia, which is a population of almost 13 million people. The government wants to require QR codes to all people who live there in order to go outside. Okay, this is obviously in Russian, but I'm translating the title of this article. It says QR code. Without it, you won't be able to go outside in Moscow. Again, that's a population of 13 million. That's the capital of Russia. I did check with multiple live sources in Moscow that I've been in contact with, and they confirm this is happening. This is their plan, is to require that every single person living in Moscow has to have a QR code that they will have to show to police upon request if they were to leave their house for any reason. This is due to the coronavirus. This new law that they're planning to do will require them to have a QR code on their smartphone. People without a smartphone, they will be given smartphones that will have that code. This really reminds me of Beast technology, Mark of the Beast. Just one step closer, like one step away from Mark of the Beast microchip going in the right hand or the forehead. This technology can also be a smart tattoo. They're saying that for any reason, doesn't matter what the reason is, in order for people of Moscow to go outside, they will have to have this QR code on them. This is confirmed by the government, the mayor of Moscow, the main IT tech, who said that this technology is available. Without the code, without the QR code, police may detain the person and bring them home, that they can be fined or jailed up to 7 years. They will be using street and underground cameras, data from cell phone providers about cell phone users leaving their house, and even information about buying things, and bank statements or bank credit card information will be used to track people. Fines for this will be automatic with the help of cameras. They will be sent automatically. They will divide the people into several groups. One group will be the workers, and so if people wanted to go on a longer trip outside of the city or within the city, they need to request that in advance through the app. And if they need to take an unscheduled trip to the grocery store, unscheduled walk with a dog within 100 meters out of their house, they need to request that through the app. There will be a group of people that won't have any limitations to move around the city, and this is the government. This is mostly the government type of people. So how crazy is this? So everyone else has to request, ask for permission to and notify to go outside of their house, even to take out trash, or like visit their friends or just any kind, and the government doesn't have to do that. It's like, wow. So everyone except for government type of people will need to register with the app, with the government of Moscow, and they will have their own private file. In that file, they will need to write where they live, and they will need to attach their photo. And in the app, they will need to they can pick a place where they plan on going, such as the store or the health supplies or something else. After verification, the person will be given a unique QR code for one type of movement. Only after receiving this code on the smartphone or a printout, the citizen can leave the house. In the app, if people want to leave the house for other reasons, they have to go to the app and they need to specify that, including license plate number and the reason for going on a longer trip. And after that, they will get a unique QR code just for that specific trip. The employers will have their own code for their workers, for the employees, and the employers will have to submit a list of the employees with their photos and passport data. If the employee needs to go to the office in his private car, he must in advance enter their own unique number at the government site. For healthcare workers and doctors, these kinds of codes will be automatically given. People will be tracked with the following. Besides the police patrolling as well as the army, there will be data collected from cell phone providers such as billing data, which will show if the person is leaving outside of their territory. Also, cameras by the houses as well as outside in the streets, inside the public transport, cameras will be tracking the movements as well as the information about the bank transactions. If the person doesn't have the QR code, then they will either be fined or taken home. These fines can be created automatically with smart tech. With the system of video analytics, if the person breaks the rules too many times and shows up in other places, then the person will have sanctions against him or her. This should all go into effect from April 4th, 2020. There's already people questioning this because one of the problems is that you have to have a QR code to leave the house, but to have a smartphone, computer, or printer is not a constitutional responsibility. However, a person has the fundamental right to leave the house. However, since the courts are in quarantine, there's nowhere a person can go in order to defend their rights. I found some English version of these sources, so you can check that out for yourself. Here it is: Moscow QR code app for self-isolation ready for launch. Head of City IT Department. QR codes will help monitor any breaches of self-isolation in Moscow. The system is ready for a large number of users. Remember, it's a population of 13 million, and once that goes in effect in Moscow, it will probably spread to other cities. By the way, Moscow did initiate the 5G technology in there, so I'm sure 5G is definitely going to be part of the whole tracking of all the citizens. A better article from NPR. This is also pretty recent, April 1st. Yeah, it sounds like April Fools, but it's not. Like I said, I double checked the sources, and this is not fake news. This is all legit. This is pretty serious. Moscow to launch new surveillance app to track residents in coronavirus lockdown. City authorities are rolling out new digital social monitoring tools targeting the public after what officials say were constant violations of city's quarantine. Let's read that again. Rolling out a new digital social monitoring tools targeting the public. So Moscow is on a lockdown, but starting Thursday, Muscovites will have their movements tracked through a mandatory app required on their smartphones. If they don't have one, the city will lend out devices. The new tools will merge with existing street cameras and face recognition software to quickly identify residents who stray from their homes. Law introducing criminal penalties, including fines and up to 7 years in prison for skipping quarantine and infecting others. President Putin also signed legislation granting government additional powers to declare immediate national state of emergency without parliament's approval. Members of Russian opposition expressing particular unease. Leader of Russian opposition Alexei Navalny said that the coronavirus will eventually leave, but this digital concentration camp will remain. And I have to agree with that because I project that the coronavirus will die out by around July, by midsummer, when this heat and the UV is going to come in and kill the virus, because the virus is susceptible to UV as well as heat and humidity. So remember it's a same family as the common cold. So common cold viruses, coronaviruses, they prefer cold weather. That's why they thrive in the winter, spring, when the temperatures are cooler. So wow, just wow, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And Mark of the Beast is one step away from this, because tracking people with cell phones, smartwatches on their wrist, people are already wearing the microchip. They don't realize it. It's their cell phone, it's the smartwatch that's already attached to the wrist. But this is taking it a step further, and this is basically telling people that here's a code, here's a number, you need our permission to leave the house, you need to tell us why, where, and when, and maybe we'll give you this QR code, which is going to be your permission to legally go outside. How crazy is this? Moscow to enforce virus lockdown with QR code passes. By the way, the coronavirus cases in Moscow are not that bad compared to United States or Italy or even China. They actually recently they sent out multiple airplanes with doctors, nurses, medical supplies to Italy, and they sent one to United States to help those countries fight the coronavirus. And to me, that means Russia is doing pretty good in terms of containing the virus and curing people and not spreading it, but they're unfortunately using this virus as an excuse to really put everyone into a 1984 type of Big Brother is watching. So stay safe out there, be smart about it, and don't bow down to the devil, because it's real. Bible prophecy is happening, and even if you're not a Christian, even if you're not religious, this is simply this is a blatant violation of human rights, and it's taking humanity one step closer to a digital prison.